Hidden deep within the freezing, unforgiving peaks of the Tibetan Plateau lies a geographical monster so immense that it makes the Grand Canyon in America look like a mere crack in the pavement. This is the Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon, officially recognized as the deepest and most treacherous gorge on planet Earth. Here, surrounded by snow-capped Himalayan peaks that scrape the stratosphere, the Yarlung Tsangpo River violently plunges thousands of feet through raw, jagged limestone. It is one of the most hostile, isolated, and physically devastating environments known to man. For centuries, this raging river has been an unconquerable force of nature, a terrifying torrent of glacial meltwater that bows to no one. But now, China has decided to chain the beast. Right in the heart of this lethal abyss, the Chinese government has initiated the construction of a mega-project so colossal, so ambitious, and so inherently dangerous that neighboring countries are actively sounding the geopolitical alarm. Welcome to the $167 billion Yarlung Tsangpo Hydropower Dam, a .K.A, the Motuo Mega Dam.
Look at the projected annual output, 300 billion compared to 111 billion kilowatt-hours. That's nearly triple the power, exactly 2.7x.
To truly comprehend the sheer, mind-bending scale of this leviathan, you have to look at China's previous crown jewel of infrastructure, the Three Gorges Dam. The Three Gorges was the most massive concrete structure ever built, a $31 billion monument that physically slowed down the rotation of the Earth. The new Yarlung Tsangpo Dam is designed to generate a staggering 300 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity every single year. That is almost 3 times the power output of the Three Gorges Dam. It is not just a dam, it is an attempt to build the most powerful man-made structure in human history. But attempting to build a $167 billion fortress in the world's deepest canyon is an absolute engineering nightmare. The engineers are not just fighting the violent current of the river, they are actively fighting the mountain itself. The Tibetan Plateau is one of the most volatile and active seismic zones on the planet, a geological battleground where the Indian tectonic plate violently smashes into the Eurasian plate. It is a region constantly threatened by massive earthquakes, lethal avalanches, and catastrophic mountain landslides. Building the world's most powerful dam directly on top of this unstable tectonic fault line is considered by many experts to be an act of sheer, unparalleled madness.
Downstream nations, requiring vigilant monitoring of the flow data.
Almost there. Slow turns on the adjustment screws.
The bubble is centered.
The tunnel systems here connect directly to the underground powerhouse.
And the flow rate modeling on the tablet confirms the projected output.
This section here looks unstable. See the fracture running through the bedding plane? Yes, I see it. We should mark this for secondary scaling immediately.
Lift it now, quickly. The water is rising too fast. Almost clear of the ledge. Bring it up slowly.
Pull left, pull left! It's dragging hard on this side. We're losing it. Lower it slowly, watch the pressure. We're losing the seal on the upstream side. Get that H-pile secure now.
Hold the swing, coming up 20 feet.
20 feet up, holding steady in the fog.
Get back! The ice is coming! Evacuate now!
The cumulative volume for Dam 1 is on schedule, but monitor the temperature spikes on the eastern section.
We are clear for ascent on Section 4. Copy that. Proceeding with the 30-centimeter lift.
Is the spacing right on this section?
Yes, looks good. Let's move to the next one.
Watch the edge with the trowel there. Keep that machine moving, don't stop. We're off by a ½ millimeter on the laser. Adjust the left jack. Okay, tightening the guide bolts now.
If a massive earthquake were to shatter the concrete, the resulting catastrophe would be unprecedented in human history. This is the full, terrifying story of how an army of engineers is battling freezing altitudes, deadly geology, and international outrage to build the ultimate weapon of water. Before the Chinese engineers can even begin to pour the first cubic meter of permanent concrete, they have to survive the river itself. The Yarlung Tsangpo does not gently flow. It violently rips through the canyon at terrifying speeds, carrying massive boulders and lethal glacial debris that act like a giant liquid sandpaper, capable of shredding steel and concrete. To tame this violent glacial river, engineers realized that a single massive dam wall, like the one used in the Three Gorges, would instantly buckle under the immense concentrated kinetic pressure of the plunging water. Instead, they adopted a terrifyingly complex strategy. They must construct a massive series of 5 cascade hydropower stations. Rather than stopping the river all at once, they are building a multi-level staircase of giant dams, designed to systematically break the river's speed and drain its kinetic energy step by step as it falls through the Himalayas. But building these initial barriers in a zero visibility, freezing canyon requires brute force engineering on a suicidal scale. Workers battle freezing altitudes where the air is so thin that internal combustion engines lose power, and humans require supplemental oxygen just to operate heavy machinery. Because there are no flat surfaces, workers use heavy explosives to blast narrow, fragile ledges directly into the vertical rock face. Massive excavators and 100-ton dump trucks must operate on these crumbling, temporary dirt roads suspended thousands of feet in the air. One slight miscalculation, one minor landslide, and the heavy machinery, along with its operator, plunges directly into the abyss. To expose the raw riverbed, they must execute the most dangerous phase of the project, constructing the temporary cofferdams. Giant cranes tethered securely to the blasted cliffs blindly lower thousands of tons of interlocking steel sheet piles directly into the freezing, roaring rapids. The water fights back violently, threatening to warp the heavy steel plates before they can even touch the riverbed. Teams of highly specialized high-altitude welders are lowered in metal cages, working inches above the lethal churning water. They must weld massive steel reinforcements while being constantly battered by freezing mountain fog and heavy rain. It is a terrifying war of attrition against the river, a battle measured in inches of steel and thousands of tons of blasted rock. Because of the extreme, hostile environment on the surface, where avalanches and landslides are a daily reality, the engineers made a radical decision. They could not safely house the delicate, multi-billion-dollar power generation equipment outside. Therefore, the true heart of this $167 billion beast is being completely hidden underground. Engineers are currently carving the world's most advanced, massive subterranean powerhouse directly into the solid Himalayan bedrock. They are essentially hollowing out the inside of the mountain to build a multi-story concrete fortress entirely protected from the lethal elements above. To achieve this, they deployed an army of colossal tunnel boring machines, or TBMs. These massive, multi-million-dollar mechanical worms are slowly grinding their way through miles of ancient, highly compressed granite. But the mountain does not surrender easily. Drilling deep into the Himalayas triggers a terrifying, deadly phenomenon known as rockbursts. Because the rock has been compressed under the weight of the mountain for millions of years, the sudden removal of that rock by the drills causes a massive release of kinetic energy. The tunnel walls literally explode inward with the force of a bomb, shooting lethal, razor-sharp shards of granite shrapnel at the workers. To survive, the tunneling crews must immediately spray the raw rock walls with fast-drying, high-strength shotcrete and rapidly bolt massive steel meshes into the ceiling to prevent the mountain from crushing them alive. Inside these dark, echoing concrete caverns, which are large enough to comfortably fit several commercial jetliners, workers are installing the true engines of the Leviathan. Towering, custom-forged steel turbines. These are not standard water wheels. They are colossal, precision-engineered metal blades designed to withstand unfathomable pressure. The design of the dam takes the water from the river above, funnels it through massive, near-vertical concrete drop shafts inside the mountain, and accelerates it to terrifying speeds. When this high-pressure, freezing glacial water violently slams into the turbine blades at the bottom of the shafts, the sheer kinetic energy produced will be unprecedented, generating enough electricity to power the equivalent of entire nations. While the Yarlung Tsangpo Dam is an undeniable masterpiece of brute force civil engineering, it is also rapidly becoming the most dangerous geopolitical flashpoint in Asia. By physically building a $167 billion fortress across the world's deepest canyon, China is not just generating electricity, they are gaining absolute, undisputed control over the immense flow of the Yarlung Tsangpo River. This is a terrifying reality for the countries located downstream. After the river leaves the Tibetan Plateau, it flows directly into India and Bangladesh, where it is known as the mighty Brahmaputra River. For hundreds of millions of people in these downstream nations, this river is their absolute lifeblood, essential for drinking water, massive agricultural irrigation, and basic survival. International military strategists and environmental experts are warning that this megastructure could easily be weaponized as a literal water bomb. The fear is not just about the dam generating power. It is about the control of the tap. If geopolitical tensions were to escalate into open conflict, China now possesses the physical infrastructure to artificially withhold the water flow. By simply closing the massive steel floodgates, They could instantly trigger devastating artificial droughts, crippling the agriculture and economies of the downstream nations without firing a single bullet. Conversely, a sudden, intentional release of the massive reservoir could unleash an apocalyptic, unstoppable flood on the valleys below, wiping out entire cities in a matter of hours. And even if the water is never intentionally weaponized, the sheer location of the dam is a terrifying gamble. It is perched directly on the Himalayan frontal thrust, one of the most unstable and violent tectonic fault lines on Earth. In the event of a catastrophic magnitude 8.0 or 9.0 earthquake, a structural failure of this massive cascade dam system would release an inland tsunami of unimaginable proportions, carrying billions of tons of water and pulverized concrete down the mountain, erasing everything in its path. The $167 billion Yarlung Tsangpo megadam is the ultimate paradox of modern infrastructure. It represents the absolute pinnacle of human engineering, a testament to our ability to bore through solid granite, conquer freezing altitudes, and tame the most violent river on the planet to harvest clean, limitless energy. Yet, it also represents our terrifying arrogance in the face of nature. By trying to cage a river in a lethal earthquake zone, and by holding the water supply of entire nations hostage behind millions of tons of concrete, it is a structure that teeters on the absolute brink of catastrophe. This is not just a construction project, it is a permanent alteration of the Earth's geography, a multi-billion-dollar gamble where the stakes are the lives of millions. The concrete is pouring, the tunnels are being carved, and the leviathan is waking up deep inside the abyss. If you were completely blown away by the sheer scale and terrifying reality of this impossible megadam, make sure to smash that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and drop a comment below. Do you think building a megadam in a massive earthquake zone is a masterpiece of engineering or a disaster waiting to happen? We'll see you in the next mega project breakdown.